Welcome to the Seer Show. Join us as we dive into the dynamic world of health, wellness, mindset, and fitness with the unparalleled guidance of lifelong knowledge seekers, Sifu Rafael and Nikki Gangemi. Sifu and Nikki will unlock groundbreaking insights with extraordinary guests from around the globe. You'll get the latest holistic approaches to well-being with a sharp focus on the powerful connection between mind, body, and soul. Get ready to take the leap. It's time to embrace a brighter and healthier future with us at the Seer Show.
Good morning, Nikki. How are you today?
Good morning, Sifu. I am excellent this fine morning, and how are you?
You are excellent. I am exceptional and getting better every day, and I know you hear it every time.
I do, but I like hearing it every time. It's seeping into my mind, and I feel like I'm starting to adopt that mentality too. So thank you.
Great mentality to have, right? But also, it's not just the mentality, it's what we do with it, right? Because I
That's
have
right.
to actually not only believe it, but I actually have to do it
Yes. You got to
every day.
believe it, you got to do it, you got to feel it in your bones.
And this is why I love the topic for today is the mind body reset. We get a chance every day to reset, don't we?
We do. Every day,
Beautiful.
moments throughout the day. It's a choice, right?
Yeah. I love the fact that you said choice. It's also decisions.
Mm.
What we decide every day can change our lives in an instant.
Yes, that's
If we
exciting.
if we decide to drink a whole bottle of vodka and get in the car, that can change our life forever.
Yes, in a not so good way.
Correct.
Don't do
Correct.
that at home.
Don't do it at home. We're not suggesting it, right?
That's right.
By the way, we have two, I mean, truly, truly exceptional human beings who are going to be on the show with us. So let's not waste any time and bring them on. Jennifer and Dave, good morning.
Good morning.
Good
Good
morning,
morning.
guys.
Should I say good afternoon to Dave, who's actually in Ireland?
Yes, it's 2:05 p.m. here in Ireland today.
Wow.
Yes.
So I'm in the future, kind of technically, right?
I was just going to say, what can you tell me about my future?
The winning numbers of the lottery.
Not yet. I'm working on that myself. I can tell you that the sun is shining here in Ireland today, which is a rare sight.
Really? Okay. Very nice. So soak it up.
Absolutely.
So, what do you guys think about our topic today, the mind and body reset?
I mean, I think it's really important. I mean, that's pretty much what I deal with in my work on a day-to-day is really help. The mind and body are so connected. So really helping people. Nikki, you mentioned before that we have choices you both mentioned choices every day in life to choose how to show up to our moments. And I think, the mind and body, there's just so much that I do with that in our work. I'm an EMDR specialist. I don't know if you guys know what that is.
Tell us.
Familiar with it, but tell us.
Okay, so EMDR stands for eye movement desensitization reprocessing, a long name, but it's the type of, I'm a therapist, I run a mental health practice, and I'm a trauma specialist. So when we speak of the mind and body, we hold so much trauma within our body, within our mind, our belief systems, and how we show up every day. So EMDR is a type of process where it can change the neural pathways in our brain. It's a therapy technique. It works at a more accelerated pace. So it's really life changing. How it works is people follow. Someone might come and have a negative belief like I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I'm a failure, or maybe they're a fear of flying, fear of driving, have been through a traumatic event, and it sounds it's hard to explain, but people follow either a light bar or do tapping. So you're almost using a sensory within your body, and at the same time of thinking of, I prompt them to think of different things, and it helps really change the way that they look at themselves or their past situation. Or I've seen people get over fears, get over negative beliefs, get over, really get to the other side of trauma they never thought they could get through. So it's a form of treatment I really believe in.
Wow, incredible. So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
The body remembers the mental trauma.
Yes.
How does somebody overcome something like that? Obviously, they have to come to you.
Right. So,
But because the body remembers the trauma, there's triggers that make it come out. So how do they start to facilitate a safer?
Yeah.
So the triggers don't really hold on to them.
Yeah, it's a great question, because that's what I deal with every day on a day-to-day basis, right? So when we go through a traumatic event, we store it in our long-term memory in a way that's kind of maladaptive, right? Now, so then when you have a trigger, something reminds you of an event, it affects your day-to-day. So what an EMDR does is it deals with just that. So basically, we bring back the memory that was stored in your long-term memory to your working memory. And what I do is, by using the system, I help the person reprocess it in a way that feels adaptive and works for them. And then from there, it restores back in your long-term memory. So then the triggers don't show up the way they used to. And it really is life-changing for people that used to get triggered, to finally be in a world where those things don't show up. Because it's almost like a slideshow, right, of our stories in our life. Like, maybe you have an argument with someone, and it's all and it's not just that argument at the moment, it's all the past arguments with the same person. But to be able to, EMDR can really help you show up just in the present and kind of remove all those triggers. So it's like clearing channels almost in your brain and things and really rewiring your neural pathways in a way that people leave and they're like, I felt something my whole life and I don't have to feel that anymore. They don't feel that anymore. And it's almost like they can't believe it because it feels so permanent, and they're able to get through it. So that's why I do the work that I do, because it's so like to see people make those shifts and really live in a new reality.
Yeah. That's exciting. I love that.
So Dave, tell us about the body aspect of the reset.
Yeah, of course. It's great listening to you, Jennifer. I think we need more of you in the world, right? Must be a great feeling to be able to help people in that space, because the right mindset, as you know, changes everything. And of course, when it comes to fitness, physical fitness, as you know, Sifu, we certainly need the right mindset for that. And I mean, it's interesting you talk about what the body remembers, what the mind remembers, and I often spoke about muscle memory when it comes to fitness. When you were that guy or that girl before who was really fit, and then you left it for quite a period of time, and you come back, and people would often say, oh, how come I got back so much quicker this time? And it's your mind remembered, your body remembered, your muscle remembered where you were at. And I guess for me, when I look back at my own life with fitness, because I started way back when I was 12, funny enough, in martial arts, Sifu, in karate, that was my beginnings. And I know, like, over those years when I was a young teenager, I loved it. I fell in love with it. I was really fit. But when I got into my late 20s and I set up my own business in printed design, back to the mindset and having the wrong mindset, I went at it and I was full on with my customers and, meeting deadlines, and my mind went the wrong way. It didn't embrace fitness at all. I fell out of it. And within about 4 or 5 years, I had piled on weight. I had no energy. I wasn't sleeping well. And I knew I had to get myself back on track. So I had to really work on my mindset to get me back into that zone. But for me, it was trying to find a sustainable way of doing it. And I have to tell you, right through my 30s into my very early 40s, I struggled. I was in and out of gyms, stopping and starting all the time. And I remember having to have that conversation with myself when I hit 42. So something has to change here. I need to get my mind right here for fitness. And that's when I made the leap. And I guess that's when I became resistance band man.
Absolutely. I like the question that Versada asked. Share with us a tip that we can all use.
That's
And
right.
I'm gonna have Nikki start, if you guys don't mind, because Nikki is mind fitness, right?
Mental fitness. Yeah. Well, the first tip that comes to mind is connecting both the mind and the body. For most of my life, I lived inside of my head. The swirling thoughts, the spiraling, the spinning. And it's almost as if my body was present, whether I was in a conversation with a boyfriend or whatever, but my mind was miles and miles away. So something that I learned to do, and this is a tip that anybody can use, is use the breath, to take a deep breath, to drop down from your head and into your body and get curious, because there's information in the body. You know, what am I feeling right now? You know, what is that emotion that I'm feeling? Where in my body am I feeling it? And it's a nice little break to get out of the noise that's in your head and into the body, and listen to that, because it's feedback, it's information that you can use.
I love that. Breath work. Super important. I think every one of us works on breath work. So let's go to Jennifer, and then we'll come back to you.
Yeah, I mean, the breath work is so important. I'd say mindset. You know, so many times we're our hardest critic. We talk to ourselves a lot. So, you know, we wouldn't talk to someone we love sometimes the way we talk to ourselves. We can be really hard on ourselves. So a couple of things. I feel like speak to yourself the way you would like your best friend. When you're going to bed at night, we tend to kind of keep thinking about maybe what we didn't do during the day, or, you know, what we could have done. Instead, try and go to bed at night and think of your 3 wins for the day. We all can find 3 wins within our day. Like, you know, it could even just be, I got up and I went to work that day, or I got some fresh air. So really, I think mindset's very important. Also, sometimes we tend to focus on the negative. We talked before about choices within our day. So almost if you notice yourself having a negative thought, then try it and back that up by some positive thoughts, right? Maybe it could be like, what did I learn from this experience? Instead of like, why is it happening to me?
Yes.
Love that.
Yeah, that's good.
What did I learn? Dave, your thoughts, and then I have some for you guys as well.
Sure. Mine is quite simple. It's obvious, but it's simple, but people don't think about it. Don't overcommit. Okay? When it comes to fitness, people overcommit. They try too hard, too quick. They try to change too much, and they struggle with it. Whether it's with how they eat or how they work out, they just go at it too hard. And my approach is, you know, take it one step at a time. Make those small adjustments to your diet slowly, you know, not all in one go, and then becomes the normality for you after a while. And when it comes to fitness, maybe start with 10, 15 minutes, get it done in the morning early, get up that bit earlier in the morning, because people always talk about, I have no time, I get caught up with my day. I said, well, just get up 30 minutes earlier and do the workout then. But if you don't have 30 minutes, do 15 minutes, but the most important thing is do something. And then that's the consistency element of it, which really works for everybody, I think, you know?
Yeah, I love that. And you're right, a lot of people have good intentions, but then everything else bombards them. And then all of a sudden the day's gone away and they're hitting their bed. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, I didn't get to work out today. But if we can do 5 minutes even, 5 is better than 0. 10 is better than 0. 15 is better than 5. But even if you only have 5, I think that's important. So yesterday, I had a conversation with a client. And he asked me this question. Do you always think positive? Because of what I always say, exceptional and getting better every day. And I said, yes. He goes, even when things don't go your way? I said, yes. He said, even when somebody hurts your feelings? I said, yes. He goes, even when something really financial goes wrong, there's an accident, whatever it is? My answer was yes. He goes, how on earth are you so positive? I said, because there's an alternative to my positivity, and that's negativity. And that's going to drive me down. So no matter what happens, he goes, what if somebody dies? I said, I think about the beauty that they brought while they were here. I am going to be sad. When my parents passed away, I was extremely sad. But I also remembered the beauty that they brought to my life. When my brother passed away and he was only 42, I was very fortunate that I was able to spend time with him before he passed. He knew he had 2 weeks to live, and I was able to spend a little bit of quality time with him. And I was very grateful for it. And I have a picture of my brother. When I walk out my bathroom, there's a picture on the wall. I see him every day. And it reminds me of the beautiful energy he brought to life. So yes, was I sad when my brother died? Yes, absolutely. But do I let that negativity hold me back? Because he wouldn't want me to be held back. He was the funniest guy I ever met. And when we can think about those things, there's positivity or there's negativity. He goes, well, my whole life I've been negative. And I said, why? He goes, because my parents lived through the Depression. They had no money. They had this, they had that. And anytime I told them I had ambitions, they told him it won't last. And so his parents kept putting him down. And he said, for the last 10 years, I've been trying really hard to be positive, but I still get very negative. And I said, because you made a decision. And that's what we talked about earlier, Nikki. It's a decision you make every day. How are you going to live? You have one life, as far as I know. Do you want to be miserable or do you want to be happy? It's a choice. It's a decision that you can make every day. And the best time to make that decision is the minute you wake up. It doesn't matter the time. You decide when you wake up how your day is going to be, and nothing can take that away from you. That's my 2 cents.
I love those 2 cents. You know, something I thought about while you were talking, Sifu, is by deciding to focus on the positive, it allows you to be present. And you got to be present for those 2 weeks with your brother, because you could have chosen the negative and thought about the things that you can't change. But by focusing on the positive, what you appreciate, what you're grateful for, you were able to be present with him.
Yeah. Well, for example, I was able to spend a week with my mom before she passed. Now, my dad, I was not able to spend time with him because he was in Colombia. But I recall the conversations he and I had, and those brought joy to me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's how you see life, and the positivity is the mind and the body, because every day I work out. I don't care where I am in the world. If I'm traveling, people say, I'm on vacation, I'm not working out. Really? Are you pooping? I'm just asking. Because your body's functioning, why shouldn't you take care of your body?
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I can relate to a lot of what you just spoke about, actually. I'm 47 years old, and I've unfortunately lost my whole family, my immediate family. I've lost both my parents, and this past May, I lost my brother at the age of 42 as well, very unexpectedly. Um, So I've had to really find the strength in myself to get, I'm a trauma specialist, and I also have really had to persevere through my own life circumstances. Two of them were very unexpected and sudden. But I think what you said really resonated with me. And I know this might sound strange, but their deaths has taught me that I have to live, and live life to the absolute fullest. I think that I've taken a lot of risks in my life because of those experiences, because I see how life can be so short. So when things feel scary or out of my comfort zone, I really try to do them anyways, because I think we do have this one life, and to really live it to our authentic self. And so I think, like I was saying, it's, obviously you mentioned kind of always being positive. I mean, I think there's right, we feel feelings, we feel the sadness, we feel different things around it, but the choice to kind of show up to our lives. And that's what their deaths have really taught me. So my brother lived his life very much like that too, just really always living every experience to the fullest, and I'm trying to take that with me.
Yeah, but I'm sure you recall all the wonderful moments that you shared with your brother, and those are the moments we need to remember always. Yeah. So, and I just want to just say one thing. And when you said old, I don't see that. You're not 47 years old. You're 47 years young lady.
Okay. I was like, yeah, right.
Back to
I call myself old. I don't think I did, but the way you just put it, no, it makes sense.
Yeah.
You always say 47 years young. Oh, I'm young, right? Because it's that perspective. It's the mind-body reset. Because how many people do you hear, I'm too old to do that. I'm too old to start working out. I've already done it. I'm too old. Listen, I've inspired people in their 60s who've never worked out to start working out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right.
Because they're young.
Sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great outlook. It even felt different in my body, Sifu, because I'm also 47. And I'll say, I'm 47 years old. And when you made the suggestion, 47 years young, I literally felt different in my body. So our words are powerful.
Yeah. You guys are like teenagers, by the way. I'm 104 years young, so think about that.
104. That's hysterical. Yeah.
So how do we reset our mind? That's a question for everybody. Because that may be helpful to somebody who continues to believe what everyone else has told them.
Mm-hmm. Jennifer, do you want to start with the mind, how to reset?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think it's important to do our work, right? Like sometimes we have to face some hard things, or, I tell my clients what we resist persists in life. So I think when we resist different things, they're there anyways, and they show up. So, and we don't have to look at something that it just has to stay as is, whether that's a relationship we're in that's not working, whether that's a sense of self, like you feel like you're stuck or trapped or failure or not good enough. I mean, these are all things clients tell me, right? I'm insecure, I'm angry, I'm sad, and I've seen remarkable things happen with clients when they really try to do their work to change their mindset. And I've seen people who never thought they could be unstuck get stuck. I mean, get unstuck. I mean, and live these lives. So I think it's really just about kind of maybe if you're scared to kind of work on things. And I work on things could be either going to the gym, right, with a business coach, with a therapist, however that looks for you. Maybe it's spirituality, or just really to kind of we can always like keep going and learning and growing. And I think that that's really important, to not always just accept and if things aren't working. So I can not saying names, but I've had so many clients. I've had clients come to me in the worst case scenarios, like out of being hospitalized, and said, I'm like, there's nothing to live for in my life, super depressed. And, was not working, was home. And now, for example, this client, her goal was like to one day be a mom, but she never even saw this possibility. Now she's home and, she's a mom, she's married, I've seen people, I've had clients who are in 9/11 and thought they could never fly again. And now we're, actually went through EMDR and now we're flying around with their families on trips. Like, I've just seen so many people go through really hard things and get through it. So I just believe anything in life, if we do the hard work, we can get to the other side.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that I'll say to reset the mind is to get into the body. So when you were talking, Jennifer, I thought of, even if you notice that you've got a lot of, chaos going on up here and you're feeling resistance or friction, it's like, do 10 jumping jacks, drop down and do some push-ups, get outside and go for a walk. And it's even the first step in my calm method that I created to help people to reset the mind. And the first step is essentially getting into the body. It's the C in calm, and that's conscious of how you're feeling. What is that emotion that I'm feeling? And then through taking a few deep breaths and then noticing where is it in my body, it gives you that little break, that disconnect from the mind. And that's really the first step. So that's what I would say to reset the mind. Get into your body.
Yeah, 100%. And there's no change without awareness, right? So you mentioned just kind of being aware of what's going on, and then from there you can work.
I got to say, you said something important, Nikki. If you engage the body, sometimes it takes away from the thoughts that you may be having. What I heard somebody say once is, if you get one of those mini trampolines and you start jumping on the little mini trampoline, it's going to be hard to be sad. Because all of a sudden the endorphins kick in, you're starting to feel your body. And could you ever be like on a trampoline like that, just jumping and jumping, all of a sudden being sad? I think that it's going to turn around. Even if you're crying, if you're having a tough time, you get on that trampoline, that crying is going to stop. So the same thing, it's very hard to cry while you're swimming. I don't know if you've ever tried it. You ever tried crying while you're swimming? No. So there's a lot of things that we can do to reset the mind. I'll give you a quick story if you don't mind. I was with a different client yesterday. He's 25 years old. He's autistic. He will never be able to live alone, ever. So I trained him. And he came in and I said, Matthew, how are you? Oh my God, was he loud and rude and everything? And I said, hey, stop. I said, I didn't do anything to you, so you don't treat me with disrespect. I said, because if you do that, I'm going to send you home right now. First, I had to establish who I am and what I am to him. And then I said, do you want to go home? He goes, of course not. And he's like yelling at me, of course I don't want to go home. Okay. He goes, just everybody wants to take my time. And I'm like, okay, I get that. I just want to yell at my mom. Well, your mom is not here right now because somebody else dropped them off. I said, do you want to yell at her later? Of course I do. I said, okay. So he goes, I really want to hit something. I said, okay, great. Let me get you some gloves and I'm going to let you hit the bags. Okay, I'm going to knock them down. I said, you cannot knock the bags down. but you can hit it as hard as you like. He's all mad. And then he takes the gloves off. I said, are you done? He goes, he's giving me a growl. And then I said, are you going home now? No. I said, okay, do you want to get on the bike or the truck? Oh, get on the bike. So he gets on the bike. He starts pedaling. He calls his mom while he's pedaling and he's yelling at her. She hangs up on him, which was the right thing for her to do. She did the right thing. He calls her again. She hangs up again, and he's getting angrier. And I said, Matthew, what else do you want to do? So he gets on a machine, he starts pushing. I said, do you want to get on the treadmill? And he goes, I'm just very upset. He starts crying. So I give him a hug and I said, Matthew, you know I love you. He goes, but I didn't do anything to you. I said, so you can talk to me. And he goes, everybody wants to control my time. I said, okay. I said, well, now the time is yours. What would you like to do with your time? I'll get on the treadmill. He gets on the treadmill, walking, starts going a little faster. And then he calls his mom again while he's on the treadmill. And he goes, Mom, I'm sorry. Will you forgive me? Obviously she did, because he hung up and he was fine. And I said, Matthew, I'm here for you. He goes, I know, Sifu. Still crying a little bit. Then when he was done, he goes, I said, I'll see you next week. He goes, wait a minute, I'm seeing you on Thursday, right? I said, absolutely. So by him going through all these movements, it allowed him to calm down and to even ask for forgiveness from his mom, who he was being mean to. So when your body is enacted or activated, mostly what I want to say is your mind can actually flourish in a better way. Yeah. But we have to give the time for that to happen. That's why a lot of times if somebody's angry, the best thing they can do is take a walk, remove themselves from the situation so they can get into a better state, and then maybe have a discussion instead of an argument, because nobody wins an argument. Have you guys ever won an argument by any chance?
Won an argument?
Yeah, have you ever won an argument?
Oh, I must have. I just can't think of a specific time. Of all the arguments I've had in my life, I'm sure I've won at least one.
Let me ask you, were there two winners in that argument? Probably not.
I think one
so
has to
surrender.
surrender.
You felt like you won, somebody lost. So I don't argue, by the way.
Yeah.
And if somebody wants to argue with me, I'll walk away from them until they want to have a discussion.
Yes, that is the best way to do it.
That's my 2 cents.
You got a lot of sense today, Sifu.
I do, I have a jar full of pennies, actually.
Dave, what are your thoughts on resetting the mind?
Yeah, I'm just great listening to all of you speak. Just been reflecting on a lot of stuff, just listening and chilling here, right? Firstly, I'm 60 years young, right? Like you said, Steve, I don't believe in using that word old. And I'm glad you did bring up the point about people using the excuse that I'm too old to work out. I'm saying, well, actually, I work out more now than I did 20 years ago, right? So you need it more when you're older. And I intentionally work with clients who are in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. And it's a great feeling to do that, by the way, because to see them shine and see the energy from them and the confidence that comes from them. I mean, when you look at the fitness industry, anyway, I'm sure it's the same over here with guys, but here in Ireland, there's such a focus on weight loss. It's weight loss. It's all stats all the time. Nobody speaks about, great circulation, better skin, better sleep, more energy. It's just weight loss, and it's part of it, but it's a very small part of it, right? It's all the other stuff that matters the most. And I think, like, when it comes to mindset, It's something I'm learning all the time, is the more you surround yourself with the right people, like being in a room with Sifu, yourself, Nikki, and Jennifer here, the positivity that's there is infectious. You know, people ask in Ireland all the time, so how are you today? People will say something like, I'm not too bad. I'm saying, I'm fantastic. You know, it's always, I'm not too bad. Why do you say that? You know, because it's just a habit. But if you start to speak differently and you say, well, actually, I feel amazing, even if you don't, if you say it, you will feel it, and you will, you know, it'll become that way for you, but you have to get yourself into that mindset. So I think some people are too hard on themselves anyway, and they judge themselves too quickly, and they don't look at the wins, they look at the losses in their day or in their week, rather than look at the things they've achieved, and they've probably achieved a lot more than they realize, and sometimes they just need to be reminded of it.
Yes. Yeah. And Dave, when you were talking, I thought, you know, when someone asks, how are you? We have these default responses, not bad, good, or could be worse. You know, I'm not going to complain. That's a common one.
Yeah, that's another one, yeah.
Default. So one thing I like doing is I actually don't like the question, how are you? You know, how are you? It's like, really? How many times are we going to ask this one? So I'll say, what's new in your life? Or what's something fun that's going on? Or what are you most excited about this week? It's kind of like puts a scratch in their record. So they can't default to their not bad, you're not going to complain, or good. They have to find a different answer.
Yeah, so truly, you know, when you're at networking events and stuff like that over the years, people have the same questions they ask you, don't they? And then people give the same answers all the time. Yeah. I think you touched before, Sifu, about how to come at it differently when you're at an event, and the kind of questions you could ask that would change a person's mindset there in the moment.
So if you're at a networking event and you get that question a lot, just write down your answer and go, here, read this. I'm just kidding. I've said it so many times today. Just read this, right?
Oh, that's funny.
I love this conversation. Before we go on, I just want to share a video with you guys. Just take a quick look. Hopefully I can find it. There it is.
You've followed the rules, tried the restrictions, counted the carbs, the steps, and the failures. You're not lazy, you're exhausted from doing it all without real change. What if the problem isn't you, but the plan? Sifu's Mind-Body Method is a 90-day transformation built on 7 unshakable pillars: mindset, movement, nutrition, hydration, fasting, journaling, and faith. This isn't another shortcut. It's your structure, your strength, your reset. You don't need harder, you need better. Ready to begin? Start today.
Ta-da!
So on brand, so on topic for today's discussion, mind, body, reset.
Yeah, when you connect all of the pillars, like you do, David, like you do, Jennifer, like you do, Nikki, you can't just put one. You actually have to connect so many different things. And you talked about sleep. You talked about the mind. You talk about the body. You talk about nutrition. You talk about all these different things. They all help shape who we are, whether we like it or not. Because even the foods that you eat can change your mood. Right?
Yeah.
Anybody is an emotional eater?
No.
We've heard of emotional eaters, haven't we? Why? Why are they emotional eaters? Because they think that that's what's going to solve their problem. Exactly. I said, see, the dog agreed.
That's right.
It's like, I'm an emotional eater.
Yeah, she was upstairs, but she came down. Yeah.
So think about that, right? Are we emotional eaters? What are we? We're hiding behind our emotions instead of saying, let me deal with my emotion. And my food should not be part of my emotional eating habits.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people, the reason they say I'm an emotional eater is that they don't want to discuss what's going on.
Right.
And so we can elevate who we are as a person if we let it out instead of holding it in. I'm sure, Jennifer, you deal a lot with that, don't you?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah. People resorting to different habits because they think it will help, but really what helps is, I mean, I love just seeing all your pillars because you add that holistic approach, you work on those different categories, and you can see such drastic changes. So, and what we talked about too, it's not, people sometimes maybe they forget it, they don't go to the gym for a day, or they eat, badly one day, and then they kind of give up. And it's not about giving up, it's just resetting. It's all about, okay, I can just reset tomorrow, start new, and just keep trying. We're all having moments where we fall off and just get back on and keep working towards it.
I say when you realize that you just fell off the wagon, don't wait till tomorrow to get up because you have to have that life alert. I've fallen, I can't get up. So you have to actually, the minute you realize it is when you say, I'm not waiting till tomorrow. Let me do it from this moment on.
Good point.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. That is a great point. You don't have to wait till tomorrow. You don't have to start Monday. You could start in your next 5-minute segment of your day.
Yeah.
It's actually so true, Sifu,
Party
because
for 5 minutes. How's that?
yeah, it's interesting you say that, Sifu, because you're always giving yourself permission to be bold for the week, right? So, like, if you fall down on a Monday, people take this kind of attitude. Well, yeah, look, I messed up the day. It's almost giving yourself permission to eat badly the next day and the day after, or drink more, and then you kind of say, well, I'll start again next week, or I'll start again next month, or the dreaded New Year's resolutions where people go wild over Christmas. They eat all wrong and they drink all over the place. And then they get to the new year and they feel so much worse. They have less energy, and now they don't want to do anything. So the time to start is now, today. It doesn't matter if you made a mistake, just reset and start again. It's easier. So that's great advice, Sifu.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, we all, anybody who's ever gained weight didn't gain it in one day. They gained it over time. But the problem we have, everybody going on a diet, is that they want to lose the weight in 5 days, 10 days, 30 days. Meanwhile, it took you 5 years to put all that weight on.
Mm-hmm.
What if it took you 2 years? Would you give up? Or would you go for the 2 years? Oh, 2 years is too long. Well, it took you 5 to put it on.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good exchange, right?
Yes.
So people don't think it. So that's a whole mindset right there.
Yeah.
When we think about who we are, who we're becoming, because we don't future think.
Right.
I want what she's got. I want what he's got. Well, guess what? You're not doing what they're doing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's like that whole mentality of the grass is greener. Well, the one that has the grass that's greener is watering it. What are you doing? Yeah.
What a great topic and conversation we've had today. You guys need to come back. We need to continue this. So at this point, we want to give everybody a chance to go ahead, and we're going to put your website up, and then tell us what somebody can expect when they join with you, and how you can be of help to them. So Jennifer, would you move them? You got 45 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, just, if anyone has any questions, just let me know. I can be reached at jslwellness.com. I post on socials just different tips and techniques. And I do a lot of speaking, and my therapy practice in Roslyn, we're online or in person in New York State. And I also do corporate events around the country about mental health. And just really, I do a lot of speaking about mental health awareness and decreasing stigma and silence. 1 in 4 people have something. If we broke our arm or had a heart issue, we take medicine, and there's ways to help with things we're going through as well. So I'd say just try and show up for yourself and work towards your goals and things.
Yeah, make sure you connect with her. Can you say your website again, please?
Yep, it's jslwellness.com. So yeah, J is for Jennifer Shapiro-Lee, so jslwellness.com. And actually my website is in transition, and we're going to have a new website June 1st. So that's exciting. Yeah.
It's coming. It's coming. So thank you, Jennifer. Dave, we're going to have you tell us about you, my friend.
Sure. Well, I mean, look, I love what I do. I love helping people. I love the fact that I made a decision when I was 52 to leave my successful print and design business so I could go on and spend my time working with people and helping them improve their wellness, their fitness, and all of that. You don't have to do it on your own, guys. That's the simple message, right? You just get help. Just find someone that you can work with that will help you get there. I mean, I love the fact that because of COVID, I became the online guy, right? And now I get to work not just here in Ireland, but across the UK and into the US. And I want to be as affordable and as accessible to as many people as possible, which is why I created my Resistance Band Academy, where you can have me 24/7. So I work with my clients one-to-one where I can. I do group classes, and then when I'm not available, people can just access me all the time with all of my recordings, my tutorial videos, my workout videos, and all of that. So yeah, I just love what I do, and the more people I can help, the better.
So tell us your website, please.
Sure. Like Jennifer, new website coming soon, but it's www.davehurleyfitness.com.
Perfect. Excellent. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Nikki, you're up.
Thank you. And I'm Nikki Gangemi. You can connect with me at my website, which is my name, nikkigangemi.com. And I'm a personal trainer for the mind, helping high achievers who struggle with overthinking, self-doubt, and internal pressure. I help you to change the patterns and clear the habits and fears that you've had for years, so you get out of your own way. And I'll turn it over to you, Sifu.
Just say your website one.
My website is nikkigangemi.com.
There you go. I'm easy to find, right? SifuRafael.com. And that is my website. So one of the things that I love doing is helping people. And thank you, all of you, for helping me on my mission. Every day I wake up with a mission of how can I help? And the three of you have made it tremendously easy for me this morning, because the knowledge that you brought to this show helps me on my mission. How can we help? Each one of us is an important aspect of what the show was today. So if you need to listen to the show again, I suggest you do. If you need to share it with somebody who needed to hear today's message, do so. I do have just a few shows, and I am the person that is here in your corner. I'm not only your trainer, but I'm also your guide, and I'm your cheerleader. So if you need somebody to help you in any aspect, whether it's getting on a stage, getting fit, anything of that nature, reach out. Let's have a chat. SifuRafael.com. I got to tell you, this was truly exceptional, you guys. Really, really, really exceptional. So thank you. God bless everybody. Have yourself an exceptional rest of the day. Take care.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah.